Good morning. So today is the day that you are going to meet your inner child. And firstly, I wonder what kind of feelings are coming up for you when you start to think about that, when you start to think about making that connection to that emotional part of self. Some of you might be really excited about that. Some of you might be really scared about that. Some of you might be not even really thinking about it or trying not to think about it. Some of you will have your ideas about what might come up for you, and that might be why you're feeling a little bit apprehensive. And you know what? All of those feelings are absolutely normal and okay. I remember the first time I was introduced to inner child work, and the whole concept of it really excited me. I knew there was stuff from my childhood that I wanted to delve into and explore a little bit deeper. So I kind of went into the process really excited, and a bit like I go into most things really, full of optimism, don't really consider what it is I'm really getting into. That's my Sagittarian nature, I guess. And then when I was faced with the first exercise, which is what we're going to do today, I kind of had a bit of a wobble, a bit of a moment where the realization of what I was embarking on was pretty profound, and that it was going to take me to a different level. Okay, so I went from being really excited to then being a little bit fearful, and of course then when I started to think about connecting with that part of myself, it was I can remember before I actually put pen to paper feeling like this overwhelming feeling of sadness but also excitement. It was a really strange feeling, and that was my inner child. It's kind of, there are little messages that are going to be going along with you on this journey, and the more you can start to pick up on these different parts of yourself and how you react in situations, that's when the real magic starts to happen. So yesterday I gave you a little bit of theory about transactional analysis, the parent, the adult and the child, and it's all the reason why I gave you that sort of basic information is because we all have these different parts of self, and the more familiar you can get with identifying which part of yourself is in control at any given time in your life, you can start to then identify where it's supporting you in a healthy way and where it's leading to not supporting you, or supporting you not in an unhealthy way. So if you haven't had a time to watch that live, it was a little bit longer than intended. Go on over, have a look and answer the questions, because the more you can familiarise yourself with the different parts of self, the more it's going to benefit you. So are you ready to meet your inner child? Or what I'm going to go through with you now is in written form as well. So if it's not quite clear from this video, it's all there in written in the written post. And there's 3 parts to this exercise. Okay, and today what you're going to be doing is you're going to be drawing your inner child. Okay, but you're not going to be drawing her with your dominant hand. So if you're right-handed, okay, we're going to be drawing the inner child with your non-dominant hand. So if you're right-handed, you're going to be using your left hand to do this exercise, the first part of this exercise anyway. And if you're left-handed, you're going to be using your right hand. Okay, and the reason for that is your dominant hand is related to the parent and the adult parts of self in the subconscious, and the non-dominant hand is related to the child part of self. And that's why we're going to start combining the use of both hands, because it's connected to that part of the subconscious part of your brain. So today, what you're going to do, and what I want you to do as well is be really curious about how you approach this. And the part 1 is about drawing your inner child. Part 2 and part 3 are about reflecting on the process and how you approached it. And this is why yesterday's exercise is quite powerful. Because if you're familiar with the parent, adult, child parts of you, you're going to notice when they're coming in as you do this exercise today. And that is really, really awesome awareness for you for moving forward. So today's exercise is called Meeting Your Inner Child. So let's get on with it, yeah? So part 1, using your non-dominant hand, I want you to just kind of sit for a few moments. There's no rush on this exercise. The more time you can take to actually tap into what your inner child is trying to communicate to you, the more of an experience you're going to have. But again, be curious about how you approach this. So before you put pen to paper or pencils to paper, that's the thing. First of all, choose how you want to do this. So you're going to need a piece of paper, a pen and pencil, maybe some colouring pencils, some crowns, whatever you choose to do, however you want to approach this. And so the first thing is I want you to just sit down and I want you to spend a bit of time. First of all, create a nice safe space for you and your inner child to meet. So in your imagination, create a nice safe space. I'm sure you've all got a place where you like to be, that you feel would be appropriate for meeting that younger part of self. And then I want you to meet her there. So in your imagination, I want you to imagine what your inner child looks like. And then with your non-dominant hand, I want you to draw her. So that is the first part of this exercise. The second part, okay, after you've done that, just sit with how you're feeling for a little while. And then what I want you to do, the second part, is to just think about how you found that process. Just think about, how did you approach it? Did you approach it with curiosity, or did you approach it with panic? Were you more worried about how it was going to look, the fact that you had to use your unfamiliar non-dominant hand? So just think about how you found that whole process. And then the third part, and we're going to go back to your dominant hand now, I just want you to write down your reactions and your comments, what you feel when you look at that drawing. So when you look at that drawing, what comes to you? What are your thoughts? What are your feelings? What are your reactions to that drawing? And I want you to write them all down using your dominant hand. So 3 parts to this exercise today, ladies. First part is draw the inner child with the non-dominant hand. The second part is reflect on how you found the process. Where was the critical parent coming in telling you that it was rubbish? Maybe spend a bit of time writing about that as well. But the third part is to sit back, look at your drawing, and then with your dominant hand, write down what you see, what you think, what you feel, and what you see, and when you look at that picture that you have drawn of your inner child. So there is more detail in the written post. Any issues, if you want to reach out to me and talk to me about anything that comes up, I'd love to see your pictures. Please pop them, if you're brave enough, please pop them under this post and share your thoughts about doing this exercise. And as I said yesterday, keep yourself safe. Reach out to me if you have any wobbles, and the group is also here to support you through the process. The more honest and open you can be, the more we're going to be able to connect with you. And I'm sure there's nothing that you will talk about that some of us haven't also experienced. So be brave, be curious, and enjoy this exercise.